Welcome to Brainish English Stories.
Once upon a time, two people who loved each other had an idea. They wanted to build a small house like an old temple. They wanted to fill it with nice things to do. They wanted to talk and have fun with their friends there. They also wanted to eat yummy fruits, listen to happy music, and read stories and poems. They dreamed of a place where they could escape into their imagination and feel happy together. One sunny afternoon, Adam Forrester and Lilias Fay went for a walk on their big land. They wanted to find the perfect spot for their happy house. They looked so happy and pretty together, like a prince and a princess. Adam liked to call Lilias Lily because she looked delicate and her face was almost white. As they walked hand in hand under the big trees near Lilias's home, they looked like they brought sunshine with them. But as they walked, there was another person with them. He wore dark clothes and a big hat that covered his face. His name was Walter Gascoigne, Lilias's old relative. He always seemed sad and sometimes a little crazy. The contrast between him and the happy couple was clear. They were like sunshine, but he was like a shadow of sadness following them. They stopped at a nice place that Lilias liked. "Why look for another spot when this is so nice?" she asked. It was a pretty place, not very special, just a cozy corner by a hill with a lake and a church in the distance. Trees and paths surrounded it, making it feel magical. The temple, if they built it here, would face the sunset, making their dreams even more beautiful. "Yes," said Adam, "this place is perfect. Let's build our temple here." But the old man didn't like the spot they chose. He thought it was sad and not right for their temple. He pointed to some old stones and flowers, saying that people had once been happy there but not anymore. Lilias was surprised. "Did others plan a temple like ours?" she asked. The old man nodded sadly. He said that in many homes, sadness had taken away happiness, just like in that place. Adam and Lilias understood that he was talking about sorrow. "This is sad," sighed Lilias. Adam tried to cheer her up. "Let's find a happier place," he said gently. So they left, and the sad old man followed them. They walked until they found a rocky valley with a little stream running through it. The valley was surrounded by big cliffs and green plants. The best part was the stream. It seemed happy and playful, bringing joy to everyone around. Here is the spot," shouted the two lovers together when they found a flat area near a small waterfall. "This valley was made for our temple, and we'll always hear the happy song of the brook," said Lilias Fay. "And its long melody will remind us of our happy life," said Adam Forrester. "You must not build a temple here," said their sad friend softly. There stood the old man again, right where they wanted to build their happy place. He looked like a symbol of great sadness from long ago. Sadly, something terrible happened there. A long time ago, a man brought a girl who loved him to this spot and killed her. He washed his hands in the stream, and since then, people heard the girl's screams echo between the cliffs. "Do you see?" said old Gascoigne. "Is the stream still clean from the murderer's hands?" "I think it looks like blood," Lilias whispered, trembling and holding onto Adam's arm. "Let's leave this scary place." "Okay," said Adam, trying to sound cheerful. "We'll find a happier spot soon." They continued their journey, like many others before them, searching for happiness. Were Lilias and her lover luckier than millions before them? It didn't seem so for a long time. The sad old man was always with them, sharing stories of sadness and suffering at every beautiful spot they found. His stories were so sad that they couldn't think of happiness in those places anymore. There, a woman was rejected by her child. There, an old person prayed to something evil and got a bad soul in return. There, a baby was found dead with its mother's hands around its throat. And there, two lovers were struck by lightning and died together. Gascoigne seemed to know all the sad stories of the world, making their search feel more like finding a grave than happiness. "Where can we build our temple of happiness?" Adam asked sadly. "I don't know," Lilias replied tiredly, her heart feeling heavy. She sat down and wondered aloud, "Where can we build our temple?" "Have you already asked yourselves that?" said their companion, his face getting even sadder. "But there is a place in this world where you can build it." As the old man spoke, Adam Forrester and Lilias looked around. They noticed that the spot where they stopped had a peaceful charm that matched their mood. It was a small raised area with a nice shape, maybe made by people. Some trees surrounded it, casting gentle shadows, but the sun still shone there. They could see their big family house on one side and the church covered in ivy on the other. When they looked down, they saw a pale lily growing at their feet. "We'll build our temple here," they said together, feeling sure they found the right place. But they glanced nervously at the sad old man behind them, worried that some sad story would ruin the spot like before. He stood there, wearing dark clothes, but he didn't object to their choice. They took his silent smile as a sign that this place had no sadness or guilt to spoil their happiness temple. Soon, during the best time of summer, the temple they dreamed of emerged on the top of the hill, surrounded by tree shadows, but also touched by sunlight. It was made of white marble, with tall and graceful pillars holding up a rounded roof. In the middle of the roof, there was a dark marble slab where they could put books and music. Some people thought it looked like an old tomb and believed it was meant for the dead, thinking the dark marble would have names carved into it. They also wondered if Lilia's fae was even from Earth because she seemed so delicate and fragile, like a breeze could carry her to heaven. But she watched as the temple grew every day, as did old Walter Gascoigne, who spent hours there, paying close attention as if it really was a tomb. Eventually, the temple was finished and a day was chosen to dedicate it. The evening before, Adam Forrester felt a strange fear as he left Lilias. He thought she was fading away with the sunset, and a shadow covered her home when he looked back. Lilias disappeared from sight. It felt like a sign, and it was. The next morning, they found Lilias lying in the temple, her head on her arms folded over the dark marble slab. The cold winds of the world had taken her beauty, but now she could bloom brightly in the garden of paradise. But oh, what sorrow for the temple of happiness. Adam Forrester was so sad. He wanted to turn their joyful temple into a tomb and bury Lilias there. Then something surprising happened. When they dug under the temple's marble floor for Lilias's grave, they found an old tomb instead of fresh earth. It held the bones of people who had died long ago, including Lilias. When Lilias's coffin was brought to the tomb, they saw old Walter Gascoigne standing there, his face sad and covered in a dark cloak. His presence made the place feel like a tomb. He watched as they lowered Lilias's coffin. "So," he said to Adam Forrester, with his strange smile, "you're building your happiness on a grave?" But even in the sadness, Adam felt hope. He understood the meaning behind Lilias and himself being there. He realized the mystery of life and death. Joy, joy, he shouted, reaching for the sky. Our temple will be on a grave, and our happiness will last forever. As he said this, a ray of sunlight broke through the clouds and shone into the tomb. At the same time, old Walter Gascoigne walked away. His gloom no longer needed now that the mystery of life and death was understood.